All right, so Locke says we can have ideas. We have ideas that come from the experiences we have. We go out, we experience something, and then we conceptualize that experience and turn it into a mental object. We turn it into an idea, Locke says. And these ideas, we can even be categorized. We can have simple ideas, we can have complex ideas, we can even subcategorize those. And what Locke is suggesting is that as we have these experiences and we conceptualize them into ideas, we're developing an inventory of knowledge. This is what we know about the world that we have these experiences of. And a fair question to ask at this point might be, okay, well, what exactly is this thing that we're experiencing that you're claiming gets turned into ideas through the process of conceptualization? And here, what we're going to see is Locke's theory of knowledge start to kind of overlap. I don't know if that's the right way to think, work hand in glove with some of his metaphysical assumptions. And they're not even really assumptions, they're just claims about the nature of reality. Okay, so we ask Locke, okay, I have these experiences get conceptualized into ideas, which then create my body of knowledge. But what exactly is it that I'm having this experience of that turns into my knowledge? And Locke would say, as Locke always says, well, that's a complicated, the answer to that question is complicated. Locke would say, you are having an experience of things outside of yourself. And when you have experience of those things have particular qualities associated with them. One of the types of qualities that the things you experience have associated with them are primary qualities. And Locke says these primary qualities are qualities that inhere in the thing itself. So you have an experience of something, you see something occur, or you pick up an object, and you start to conceptualize this experiences into ideas about the thing or about the experience. And what Locke says is that some of the properties of this thing that you're experiencing, they actually inhere in the object itself, completely independently of you. They don't depend on you for their existence. They're actually in or of the thing that you're having the experience of. These are things like shape or size or weight, a position of where something is. These things don't need you to exist. Those properties, those qualities or characteristics, they exist outside of you. They exist in those objects that you're having the experience of. And these are all qualities that can be measured. Okay, so you and I can pull up our blue water bottle friend, and we can determine what the size of this water bottle is. And we can do it independently of one another. And if we're doing it accurately, we'd both come to the same conclusion, because the water bottle simply has a size. And that size exists independent of us. Now, Locke would say, you wouldn't be able to think about, well, he would say you wouldn't be able to experience the water bottle and therefore not be able to think about it if it didn't have its primary qualities. Okay, so Locke would put this challenge to us. He would say, all right, I want you to think about, I'm going to take away the property of size. So this water bottle no longer has a size. And then I'm going to give it to you to have an experience of. And I want you to tell me what that's like. And you're going to go like, how the hell can I have an experience of the water bottle if it has no size? I don't even know how I can't even imagine what a water bottle with no size would even look like. I can't imagine how I would even experience that. It seems like size is an essential feature of the thing in order for me to be able to have any kind of experience of it. And Locke would say, yeah. And that's why size is an inherent feature of the thing, and why size is a necessary property for the thing to have in order for you to have any experience and then any knowledge about that experience. But Locke would go even one step further, and he would say, it's not just that size is a necessary feature of the water bottle to have in order for you to have an awareness of it. Locke goes one step further and says it's actually these primary qualities like size and shape and position that cause you to have an experience of the water bottle. Okay, and here's what he means is he's saying, I disagree with my forebearers of 2,000 years ago who thought that our sense organs were these sort of active, not receptors, that would be the wrong word, they're the active mechanisms that go out into the world seeking to bring back to us, like a retriever dog, information about the world for us to think about. So like 2,000 years ago, we thought of our eyes as being like these tractor beams that would actively go out into the world, grab some sense data, bring it back to us, and then we would think about it. And Locke is saying, no, 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 no. And Locke's more accurate in this regard. Locke is saying our sense organs are sort of passive recipients of this sense data. So when I put this pen in front of my computer screen here, if I could get it positioned right, and you put your you put your eyes focused on the screen, on that pen, you can't focus your eyes on the pen and not see it. And Locke would say that's because this pen has size and it has shape and it extends out into the universe. It has a particular position, and all of these things combined, it's forcing itself into your awareness. It's causing your awareness. Now, I want you to sort of make a little note to yourself here, because this is going to become really important later on. So Locke claims that the primary qualities that are inherent to a thing like a pen or a water bottle, like its size and shape, they actually cause you to have the experience of the thing. You can't avoid having the experience of the thing if those qualities are presented to your sense organs. They cause your experience, therefore they cause your awareness, therefore they cause you to have ideas about this thing. All right, now Locke's going to say, though, that the objects that we have experiences of, they don't just have primary qualities, qualities that inhere in the things themselves. They also have these things called secondary qualities. And these aren't things that adhere in the object, like size and shape and weight. This is more like a power that is in the object that we have the experience of to produce certain kinds of sensations in us. So, for example, the color blue. The water bottle doesn't have the color blue in it, okay? It appears to be blue to us, but that's just because our eyes are receiving certain light patterns and light rays. Hopefully none of you is a physics major and can critique my understanding of color here. But there's something in that water bottle that's a power that produces the experience of blue in our minds, and blue is not in the bottle, okay? Same thing with sound. As you're listening to the sound of my voice right now, you're not actually hearing my voice as it exists external to me. You're just, there are sound waves that are coming out of your computer speakers, right? And then your ears process those sound waves in a particular way that results in the sound of my voice in your head. But Locke would say that those sound that you experience in your mind that's produced, that sensation, is not a feature of the objects that are outside of yourself. Instead, they have these secondary qualities that are these powers to produce these sensations in you, right? So when chemicals, when you use window cleaner on your mirror in your bathroom and you get that smell doesn't exist in the window cleaner. That smell is produced by the window cleaner, by its secondary qualities that have the power to produce that particular smell for you. All right, so Locke says, we have experiences. All the ideas we have come from our experiences. Our ideas that are coming from our experiences come to us because we conceptualize those experiences into mental objects. And then those mental objects then ostensibly correlate with the reality that we're having the experience of. Okay, so this brings us to Locke's idea, Locke's epistemology called representative realism. Locke says, unlike Descartes, well, we haven't gotten to him yet. So Locke says, look, there really is a world out there, and you have experiences of it, and that world is real, and it has properties and qualities that exist independently of you. And what your mind experiences is kind of a processed version of that reality that you've had this experience of. It's not the world itself that you experience. You experience this world through your sense organs, and your sense organs are what allow you to take in this experience in the form of sense data, and then your mind conceptualizes that sense data into ideas and knowledge, so that you have what we might call a representation of reality. Okay, and so a good way to think about this is, you can see in this cartoon, here's this person saying, this is a picture of you. holding up the picture, and then this kid says, but I'm not flat, glossy, black and white, 3 inches tall with a white border around my head, right? In other words, no, that's not me. That's a representation of me. And there's a difference between me and the representation. And Locke is saying kind of something similar is going on in our interaction with reality. There is a world out there that we have an experience of, and there are properties that exist objectively, but ultimately our experience of reality is a representation of reality, not reality itself. Now, so compare this with some of the other realisms that we've entertained so far. So we started off with this idea of naive realism. The world is the way the world appears to me. And then Descartes shows up on the scene and says, yeah, not so much. Descartes says the reality is best understood in the language of mathematics and physics, not in your naive realism. And then we have now Locke come along and say, what appears to be out there is different than what is actually out there, but there is some sort of relationship with these two things, and therefore I can have knowledge of reality. Knowledge is possible of reality. It's just that my knowledge comes to me as a representation of that reality.